Hello friends, Lee here from TableTop Bong. Thanks for joining me. In this video, thought we could hang out, have a fun sesh, and I'm gonna pull out 3 sleeper vapes from my collection, show them to you, and we're gonna talk about it. And what I mean by sleeper vapes, these are 3 vapes that I actually reach for a fairly good amount, and they actually don't get talked about very much in the community at all. So when I'm saying sleeper vapes, all 3 of these, they all slap. I didn't expect when I got any one of the 3 of them that they were gonna really slap the way they do, and they all exceeded my expectations. Each one of these vaporizers I'm gonna talk about today in this video, I have purchased with my own money. These were not sent to me by anybody, and I am not going to offer any affiliate links. I'm just simply sharing my opinion, and when I'm reaching for things in my collection, what am I reaching for and why? So these 3 are definite sleepers that I thought we should talk about and have a good sesh. And you know, I'm gonna rip a bunch of bowls and we're gonna have a good old time. So get your gear and let's get after it. So let's start with number 1. Why don't we start with a battery powered vape? Okay, so I have one in my collection right now that when I got it, I was like, what? Wow, this thing hits hard. And it's just not at all what I expected. So let me grab that one right now. Oh, we're almost breaking stuff back here in the background. So what I'm talking about today is the Utillian 723 from T-Vape. So this is a very basic vaporizer, right? You just have your chamber here, you load your dry herb in. You can put in about 0.3 of a gram in this single button operation. You'd think, well, what can really be all that great or not great about this? You know, is the flavor good, whatever. But this thing, for some reason, it slaps. It hits harder than a lot of the portable vapes in my collection. And if I'm leaving the house and I'm like, oh, I'm going to grab a portable, I want to be able to have a few bowls on the go. I'm actually reaching for this one now. I couldn't be more surprised by that, to be completely honest, but since I've gotten it, it hasn't really left being in play, right? Sometimes I pick up new vapes, you know, and every now and then they're sent to me as well. I'll get them, I'll check them out, I'll use them for a little bit, and then they kind of go off to the side, and then I pull them out every now and then. This one, it stayed in play. So that's why I thought it was definitely worth talking about. Let's load it up right now, and I'll show you, you know, just how easy this thing is to use. And I think this is what I like about it. One, it has a decent sized chamber, so I can get about 0.3 of a gram in there. So when I'm on the go, I'd rather load a little more in if I have a device that can provide, you know, good flavor and nice vaporization. I like to get a little more in because I don't want to load it quite as often when I'm on the go, right? When I'm at home, I don't mind microdosing or small doses or whatever the case may be. But on the go, definitely give me a slightly larger chamber. So this definitely has that. So now we're just flashing here on this light. So I have this set on, I think this is on 210 Celsius is typically where I'm running this at. I find it very flavorful, heats up quite quickly. It's still throwing, at that point, you know, at this temperature, it's throwing really nice thick vapor, and it's really flavorful. Well, even I'll grab a whip hose water pipe adapter, hopefully, yep, I have one handy, and we'll rip it through this Ember tabletop bong as well, so you can actually get a visual on the vapor itself that's being produced. You know, we'll use this like a glass lung, but I'll just show you, like, if you just pick it up, so that was the heat up time. And your first draw, you're already getting satisfying vapor. You know, this one really shocked me. It definitely hits harder than I expected. I think that's the part that surprised me, was that the flavor stayed excellent. Quite honestly, the flavor is excellent with this device, and it stays. Even when you turn it up, you're not losing all of the flavor. So the extraction, they've got this nailed pretty well. And for the price point of it, right, that's the other thing. When you consider it, it's, you know, just over half the price of the Mighty Plus. And honestly, I'm reaching for this more than I'm reaching for the Mighty Plus. So, but everybody's going to feel a little bit different about that, right? I'm just sharing my opinion from things that I've bought. I'm finding this Utillian 723 to be really, really satisfying. One of the downfalls with it, though, is you have to use a whip hose water pipe adapter. It doesn't come with a water pipe adapter specifically for it. And the air intake is on the bottom of the device. So when you're going to hook it onto a bong like this, you need to, not set it down flat. Otherwise, you're going to inhibit the airflow. So I just hold on to it while I'm doing it. Really, really satisfying vapor. Definitely, this is this is definitely one of my most reached for portables since I've added it to my collection. I wanted to just review something from T-Vape that, because I haven't really given their stuff too much attention, although I have a few of the devices. So, I thought I would pick up the latest, which is the 723 here. And, oh yeah, it's 5. And check it out, and I'm really, really happy I did. It just turned out to be, in my opinion, a full winner. All right, so let's get into, I want to show you an analog vape. This one here, my friends. Okay, so this is the Quartz on Quartz from Vapes. When I first got this, I didn't love it. I didn't understand it. I didn't use it properly. The whole thing was a mess. Like, just a mess when I first got this thing. I've added a band here, so it normally doesn't have that. It looks like this. I've just put the band on this because it makes it easier to handle when it's hot, and then I don't have to wait in between. Okay, so why is this one the sleeper for me? Well, when I first got it, I didn't really like it. I didn't understand it properly. And it was actually you guys in the community who were like, dude, don't stop with this thing. Get to know it a little bit. Like, give it a good chance and come back and do another video. So I share things with you guys, and you listened. You shared some stuff with me. I listened. It worked out really well. I'm so grateful that I did pay attention to what you guys are saying about this particular device. So here's where I ended up using this on a very regular basis. I love vaping nug of weed versus ground weed. I'm really loving the flavors. It's slightly less intense vapor, but the flavor is through the roof. You can really unlock a lot of the terpenes because it's a much more gentle extraction process. So with this particular device, that's what I'm doing a lot of now. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking a nug of weed like this, and I'm just going to break some pieces off of it and put them, right? Like, just drop nug pieces in like this. I'm going to drop another one in there as well, right? I'm not going to jam it in there. I'm just going to get a decent fit, and we'll just fill that up with a couple of little nug pieces. So then we end up like this. I'll just tuck that little tag end in there, and then you just put the cap on. Okay, I'm using this almost exclusively through my TableTop Bong and Ember. This is a great combination, running it through the bong. I'll show you that first, and then I'll show you exactly what I'm doing with this as well. If I want to feel like I'm smoking a joint, this is also a great grab, and I'll show you what I'm doing there too. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this until I see the flame where it's touching the cap. It's going to turn orange. As soon as I see that, I'm going to give a couple of little puffs, and then I'm going to put the heat back on it for 5 seconds. We're going to drop it in the bong, and you're going to see exactly what's going on with this and why it's so much fun. So it heats up very quickly if you use a decent sized torch. And there's the orange. Just a few puffs, just to pull heat in. And then 5 or 6 seconds. And now I can just go ahead and rip on it, and I should get a really, really flavorful sips here. Cheers. This is about the easiest unrestricted analog device to use when you use that little formula that I just showed you. But specifically using small chunks versus ground weed with this, definitely the move. So what I'm getting is 3 or 4 good puffs. But what I'm going to do here just for this final puff, I'm just going to heat this back up, put a bit of heat in here, and we'll just do, one big rip now that everything is heat soaked, just to finish this bowl off. Cheers. Really, really nice. Okay, so where else I like this a lot is if you want to just drop a couple of nugs in like I just did there, we'll just load it back up real quick and I'll just show you real quick before we move on. Drop a couple pieces in like I just did there, heat them up, and if you have this does, when you buy the kit, it comes with a mouthpiece and stuff. I personally didn't like the mouthpiece that comes with it. I found it hard to clean. I found it to be a bit of a pain. So I decided I would just take a down stem and just put some 3D dimples in it like this, right? And then I can just stick that right in and make a mouthpiece. So that's exactly what I did. And if I have the urge to smoke a joint, this is the move for me right here. I just pull this out, heat this up, do the same process, right? Okay, there's the orange. A few little puffs. Heat it back up. 5 seconds or so. For an analog device that was really inexpensive, that's giving you a glass path extraction like this, it's pretty hard to beat this one. And talk about flavor. All right, I have one more to show you. And this one is probably going to surprise you guys. I reach for this particular one quite a bit. What I'm going to show you here is I would say in my entire collection of ball vapes, and believe me, I have a few of them now. Holy smokes, do I. There's one that I would call the Total Sleeper that I don't know that I've ever even actually heard anybody talking about, but it's one I reach for all the time for a very, very specific reason. If you're thinking about like Friday night rips, right? Like if it's like Friday night and you want to get blasted and you want those big, walking the line kind of, getting close to combustion, hitting it really hard, the biggest clouds, the heaviest, the most stony effect. Sometimes that is the goal. When I'm looking at that as my goal, I reach for this one ball vape. Let me get it right now. Okay, this particular ball vape, this is the Staroma 360, not the Taroma. Okay, this is the stainless steel version, the Staroma 360. I reach for this when I'm going for the massive clouds. I reach for this over basically 90% of the ball vapes in my collection. When I want to get like just smack-a-doodled stoned, this is my move, because the stainless steel has a tendency to, what's the right word? what's the right word? I'm trying to get the right word here. It just kind of that's the word. Mutes the flavor out compared to the titanium. If I'm looking at middle of the road, I want that kind of lighter buzz. I'm not looking for the most slammed possible. Then I'm typically going to go for the titanium. But when I'm looking for the hardest, most stoned effect, I'm grabbing this stainless steel Staroma 360. I'm heat soaking. I'm using the glass bowl, not the titanium bowl. I want the thin glass bowl, and I'm heat soaking it for about 20 seconds. I've got the screen set way up high. I'm going to put the dry herb right up at the top, very, very close to the heater. I'll show you. Look at how close we're going here, okay? So that's going to go in there. This is going to go ahead and sit on there, and we're going to let that heat soak for, say, 20 seconds or so. And then, once it's heat soaked for 20 seconds or so, I'm going to rip on this like a madman, because that's the whole point of what I'm talking about here when you're looking for this kind of a buzz. Cheers. So you can see we got a nice dark roast on there. Very, very thick, heavy extraction, not too close to combustion. Well, we're not getting to the point where we're going to have any carcinogens here, right? This is still a nice clean vape, very clean vaporization, very even. But I'll tell you what, you can take those big single rips. When you can take, oh, that one just slammed me after the other ones. Woo! When you can take in those big rips like that, you're getting it very deep into your lungs. So you're really absorbing that and getting it into the bloodstream. It seems to me at least a little bit quicker than when you're sipping. So, I mean, it can overwhelm when you get it right. So right now I'm running that at 490 degrees Fahrenheit, which is definitely on the high side. I think the maximum recommendation is 480. So I'm exceeding the maximum recommendation just a little bit, heat soaking for 20 seconds and just slamming on it. And that is definitely my sleeper ball vape that I'm reaching for a fairly good amount. So those were the three things that I would say are the sleepers in my collection. All right, I'm too stoned to keep going. All right, my friends, until next time, take care.